Welcome to the Mindset Architect Podcast, where it's all about creating the life you want, the business you want, and making a real difference. Join us in unlocking the code to true success. And now your host, Tony Caliendo, Master Coach with Rethink Coaching.
Welcome to the Mindset Architect Podcast, episode number 107. I'm Tony Caliendo, Master Coach here at Rethink Coaching. And as always, I just want to take a minute and thank you for sharing your time with me. Time truly is our greatest asset. And the fact that you're willing to invest and share your time with me truly does mean a great deal. So thank you so much for being here. Today, I want to talk about a topic that I thought a lot about this weekend. I just got off the plane and got back from a really special weekend in Breckenridge, Colorado, celebrating one of our really great friends' birthdays. And I will be honest with you, as you all know, I'm working on a big project. It's a book, and it's requiring a lot of time outside of what I normally do for a living. So between coaching, conferences, keynote speaking, preparing for upcoming events, there's this project that is taking a great deal of time. And I thought about it this weekend. I would not have missed spending time with this group of people for anything. Yet, was it convenient? No. Was the timing good for where I am in my project? No. However, the question came to me is, am I willing to do the work even when it isn't convenient? And the answer is yes. And it's making that commitment to doing your work, whether it's a book, whether it's your regular business, whether it's starting a new business, whether it is creating a new venture within your organization, whatever it might be. Are you willing to do the work even when it's not convenient? So I want to talk to you about 7 things that could come up that I want you to think about when you're feeling like this isn't the right time. I shouldn't be doing this. I should be skipping an event or spending time with my family and friends. I want you to have a moment and just think about, number 1, what is your commitment over convenience? You know, success really rarely shows up when it's easy or comfortable. If you only take action when the timing is perfect, you're going to rarely build momentum. True growth comes from showing up consistently, even when there's days when it would just be so much easier, and giving yourself an excuse or a reason would be an easy ticket out. Commitment over convenience is a big deal because success does show up in times of challenge. Success does show up when things are not comfortable or they're not seeming like it's very easy. That's when the commitment over it being convenient really comes in. And I had to ask myself that several times this weekend as I would sneak away and do a little bit of work early morning. I think, as you all know, I get up really, really early at about 4:30 in the morning. So I had some time in the morning to do work. Now, was it convenient or a time that I wanted to? Not really. I was on a semi-vacation, yet I had to make a decision to do both, not either or. And in this situation, the commitment over it being convenient outweighed. And number 2, discipline beats motivation. You know, motivation is one of those things. I don't know about you, but for me, I get super motivated and then sometimes the motivation wanes. And I know that I can recharge myself by reattaching to why I'm doing it, thinking about the impact and the outcome. Yet I'll be honest with you, sometimes motivation is fleeting. It escapes us. It might be there when we're super excited about the project, when it's a moment where we're in creation versus doing, when it's a moment where we're talking about the strategies to get there versus being in action. And so discipline will beat motivation because motivation isn't always there. Yet you have the choice about exercising discipline. And discipline simply means doing the work regardless of your mood, weather, energy level, where you're at, what you're looking to do. Discipline can be applied at any time, and it is not dependent upon your level of motivation. Most successful people rely on habits and systems, not just working when you're feeling motivated. So I had to rearrange a lot this weekend to make it happen, and I was willing to do it. And it took a lot of discipline. I mean, I was upstairs, tucked away in the corner of a house while 10 really great friends were downstairs having a really great time. I could hear them. And the temptation to go down and hang out with them was really great, but the discipline of the work really outweighed everything. So discipline beats motivation. Number 3, there's this compound effect of small efforts. Doing the work when it's not convenient stacks up to really powerful play, really powerful ways. It's really important. Like for me, no, did I get, a full 8 hours in of working on the project? No, but I got little segments of an hour here, 2 hours there. It was late nights, early morning, but the compound effect was really evident when I started seeing the project unfold in a way that I wasn't sure it was going to be able to while I was traveling. And it is what stacked up that kept me going to continue doing more. So compound effect is really, really important. It's really about resilience, skill, and confidence. It is about missing on a couple of the moments. I have to be honest with you. I missed out on a few moments with the people, but I didn't miss out on building and stacking the wins. They were there. And I didn't look at it that either I was going to do this or spend time with my friends. It was, I'm going to do this and spend time with my friends. So the compound effect definitely helped out because it really stacked up in very powerful ways as I was accomplishing and checking things off off my task list and being able to report back to my agent what was getting done. I really felt good about the progress I was making given the limited circumstance or time that I had. Number 4, I had to reframe inconvenience as training or really as a test. Was it convenient for me to try to go find a quiet place in the house to do work? Was it convenient for me to take time away from what I really wanted to be doing, which was hanging out, relaxing, and maybe having a drink with my friends? But inconvenience I looked at as really just a test. It was testing my resolve and my commitment to the project. Every challenge becomes a chance for you to strengthen that mental muscle of commitment. Instead of me saying, oh my gosh, this is so hard, I really just don't want to be doing this, I just was able to shift it into this is practice and it's moving me towards my bigger goal. I just took a minute to reframe what I was doing and realized that when I felt like it was inconvenient, it was just a test. And I can proudly say I passed the test. Number 5, sacrifice, choosing long-term wins over short-term comfort. Success does require trade-offs. Early mornings, late nights, skipped distractions. And like I said, it was full of it. I'm an early riser. One of my friends, the guy who we're celebrating his birthday, is also an early riser. So there was a temptation to just hang out with Gene in the morning. It was just two of us and get caught up and talk about all the great things we were going to do for the day. Yet I chose to make that little sacrifice to not have the full time with him to go off and do the work I needed to do. 4:30 in the morning in Breckenridge, Colorado, it's cold and it's dark this time of year. And it would have been really easy to trade off not doing this. However, the early morning time where I dedicated a couple hours in the morning before the rest of the house woke up made a difference. Was it a sacrifice? It was. But was it like a detrimental sacrifice? No, because I saw that on the other side of this moment that I was sacrificing, there was such great value and win. And I knew that I was willing to exchange what was comfortable in the moment for what was important later. So I knew by making that little sacrifice at 4:30 and not just chilling with a cup of coffee, having a great conversation, that sacrifice was going to bring me to phenomenal things in the future. It was the price of admission for the life that I want to live in the future. And for this really incredible project, this book that is incredibly important to me because I know the impact it's going to be able to make. And I'm really, really excited about this. So when I sat in those moments of thinking, is this a huge sacrifice? It was. However, the long-term win outweighed that sacrifice big time. Number 6, becoming the person who shows up anyway. Nobody would have known in that house that I had a commitment to my agent to get certain things done in the timeline that I had to do. Nobody would have known. And I could have certainly said, forget it. I'm just going to hang out and have a great time. But I knew. And that was really important to me to hang on to that identity that I have for myself of being a very committed loyal, dependable person. The book really has a big impact on me. However, because I made a commitment to someone else and to myself, I showed up, and I showed up even when I didn't necessarily want to be doing it. So my identity gets strengthened every time I make decisions like that. It's a great way to test your identity. Are you always the person that you want to be, in terms of, are you showing up and doing the work even when it's challenging? Over time, what I love about holding on to that space of identity, right? That I'm the person who commits and does, versus commits and then just says, forget it. Or because nobody else knows what's going on, I can just, you know, kind of lie to myself. I'm the only one that would know, and take a break when a break isn't really warranted. That mindset helps me remove any kind of fatigue or decision fatigue that there might be in deciding what I'm going to do. I just show up no matter what. And, I had to look at the ebb and flow of what was happening for the weekend to figure out when I was going to sneak away. And I didn't have to sneak away. People knew what I was doing. When I was going to move away from the energy of the activity to go do what I needed to do. So I love it, because for me, it's just an affirmation of who I choose to be on the regular, even when it's hard. And then lastly, team, is the reward is greater on the other side of inconvenience. There's a great sense of pride, momentum, and breakthrough that only happens when you push through the inconvenience of having to do what you committed to do. And it's not even having, you get to do it. I mean, I knew the whole time I was there that I was going to be busy with the book. I was working on a project for my coaching clients, and I knew that I had a podcast to do when I got home. I knew, and we chose to stay a little bit later today than we probably should have, yet we had some great time with them before we hopped on the plane and headed back here. But I knew that the reward was going to be great. Yes, it's late. It is nearly 11 p.m. in my world. However, the reward of doing everything I did while I was there, plus the reward of doing this, so much greater than the inconvenience. Could I have just gone to bed tonight and sent a note to my podcast manager saying, hey, Jesse, you know what? I didn't get the recording done, and you're not going to have anything to edit tomorrow, and I'm going to put you behind for the week, and I'm going to miss a commitment I make to myself and to you every week. I could have done that, but the reward of getting this done, the reward of knowing when I am done here and I shut down for the night, I go to bed, that I persevered through the challenges and I just upheld my commitment to everything. I got to have a lot of fun. I got to be there for someone who's really important in my life and his family and his special group of friends. I got to experience things this weekend that I wouldn't have had I either said no to going or not been able to manage my time and my commitment. The reward of this was huge. So I just want you to think about when you persevere through the inconvenience, when you push through and you do the work, even when it would be easier to just say no, there is a reward waiting for you on the other side. And it feels really good. Yes, I think you can hear my voice. I'm tired. Yes, I think you can hear my voice. We talked and laughed a lot this weekend. Yes, I think you can hear that my level of commitment to you, to myself, to my podcast manager, to my friends, to my agent, all of that is there. And it feels pretty freaking amazing to be sitting here at nearly 11 o'clock at night, knowing that I hit all of my commitments and built in a phenomenal time. I'm willing to do the work even when it's not convenient. Are you? I think that's the biggest test of how committed we are to our success, to our future, to meeting our goals and having a positive impact on the people that are recipients of us hitting our goal. So just remember these 7 things when the work doesn't feel convenient, but yet you're wanting to do it anyway. Commitment over convenience is huge. Making sure you've got the commitment part down, because then you can work through it not being convenient. discipline beats motivation. Motivation's waning. It's up, down, all around. And discipline, though, can be applied at any time. So just know that discipline to your goals and your projects will beat motivation anytime. There's a compound effect to small efforts being made. If I got 30 minutes in instead of 2 hours, which I normally would have done if I was home, I was still having small wins, which were building to a big win. Reframing inconvenience as simply a test. That to me was big. And it always is. It's like, gosh, it's just a test of my resolve. Am I willing to do the work that I committed to do under whatever the circumstances may be? I can think of a not funny time, but I can think of a time when I had a significant health issue and it was not convenient for me to meet with my clients. Yet I did because I made commitments. So it really was just a test. I was in the hospital and I was making coaching calls. And it was not like I was risking my health. I got permission from my doctors to do the calls from my hospital room. But it was really just showing that, it wasn't convenient for me to be doing these calls because I didn't have my equipment. I didn't have everything I needed. Yet it was proof that even though it's hard, I was willing to work towards my bigger goals. Number 5, sacrifice, choosing long-term wins over short-term comfort. Would have been super easy for me to just say, you know what, forget it. I will let everybody know that I'm moving deadlines next week. I mean, I own my own company. Who's going to fire me? Nobody but me. And I chose to have long-term wins over short-term comfort. That to me is huge. So early morning, late nights, whatever you got to do to get it done, it is focusing on the long-term wins. The identity, I love that. It's just testing who you are, right? Are you willing to do the work even though it's hard? Are you telling yourself, this is just who I am? I just show up. And it's fun. The people that I was with this weekend have known me for a really long time. And we've been on a lot of different journeys in our professional careers together. Jean and I especially have been together when some things were really challenging. And yet my persona, my identity, I show up. And he knows that. And so he would make a comment as I would go upstairs to do some work. He's like, you're always committed and willing to do the work. So it's just an affirmation to me, and it can be to you, on becoming the person who shows up regardless. And then the last thing is just to remember that the reward is greater on the other side of inconvenience. I am going to sleep like a baby tonight, knowing that I hit every commitment to my business, to my friends and family, and to my life. I hit all of them. And it feels really, really good. I'm going to wake up tomorrow. It's going to be a regular Monday for me. And I just get to keep going in that flow of that compound effect of moving forward. So keep those 7 things in mind if you are thinking about a time or an upcoming time when you need to do something and it's just not convenient, but you're really committed to the goal. These 7 things can help you out tremendously. So like everything else, if this is something that is striking a chord with you, that you could use some additional help with, just reach out to me. Tony@rethinkcoaching.com is my direct email. I will answer that and get back to you. You can find me on all of the social media outlets, send me a DM, and I will get back to you. I offer a 1-hour free strategy session to anyone, everyone. All you have to do is reach out. If you find yourself challenged by this, and I promise you it happens, that when things become inconvenient, we take the easy road. If you want to change that behavior and you're intrigued by this podcast, just reach out and I'll be happy to help you out. All right, team, go do the work, even if it doesn't always fit in beautifully to your schedule. We'll talk to you next week. Make it a good one. If you enjoyed listening to this podcast, you must come check out the Mindset Architect Group Coaching Program. It's our monthly program where we explore the power of your mindset, help you identify what you truly want in business and life, and then help you reach those goals. Come check us out at rethinkcoaching.com/group-program. That's rethinkcoaching.com/group-program. We'll see you there.